Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Professionals Pulse. I'm Farida Musaddi, the CEO of Al Fateh Technologies Dubai. At Al Fateh, our commitment lies in delivering cutting edge technological solutions to our clients, leveraging the latest advancements to propel them towards success. Today, we delve into one such remarkable technology that holds the potential to revolutionize operations across diverse industry domains. This innovation can and has empowered our organizations to achieve remarkable benefits and drive transformative change in their respective fields. So let's enter the captivating realm of digital twins and the IoT. In this episode, we embark on a journey through the interconnected landscape of virtual replicas and smart devices, exploring how these transformative technologies are reshaping industries and redefining the way we interact with the world around us. From enhancing efficiency and productivity to revolutionizing predictive maintenance and the decision making process, digital twins and IoT are at the forefront of innovation, promising to unlock unprecedented opportunities in various domains. Join us as we unravel the complexities, discuss real world applications, and envision the future possibilities of this dynamic convergence between the digital and the physical realm. And joining us today on this episode is Mr. Kumar Prasoon. Hello, Mr.
Hey,
Kumar.
hello.
Nice to have you on the Professionals Pulse.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me here.
Mr. Kumar Prasoon, presently serving as the CIO at Twin Dubai, with prior experience at G42, has garnered significant recognition in the technology sphere. Named Enterprise Digital Leader in 2017 and the Digital Retail Leader in 2018 by MIT Sloan Review and the Khaleej Times, and awarded CIO of the Year for consecutive years from 2018 to 2021. Mr. Kumar is esteemed as one of the foremost CIOs globally, particularly in the Middle East region and Asia regions. In his influential capacity, he advises executive management on a spectrum of cutting edge technologies, including fuzzy analytics, business intelligence, big data, IoT, blockchain, cloud computing, enterprise 2.0, integrated systems architecture, and virtualization. Mr. Kumar is renowned as the founder of the Fuzzy Analytics Framework and modern industrial complex mathematical calculus for emerging technologies, positioning him as a leading figure in industry research, scientific exploration, and technology advocacy for smart systems, smart retailing, smart cities, smart parking, smart engineering, smart instrumentation, smart metering, and industry quantum mechanics. He contributes extensively to academia, mentoring, and spearheading successful projects for numerous universities worldwide across disciplines such as engineering, IT, business, and management, focusing on emerging technologies, emerging markets, and emerging systems. Additionally, Mr. Kumar plays a pivotal role as an advisory board member for various national and international consortiums, driving consulting, research, and pioneering industry innovations. Mr. Kumar, it's a pleasure to have you here with us on the Professionals Pulse today. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Farida. And it's too much an explanation about me. Oh, I think I have a very, very brief profile, but I think you have extrapolated to the high extent. Okay. So, I'm feeling very humble and privileged to be with you. Yeah.
And I'm also very much interested about the topic that we're going to discuss today because it's one of my interest areas also.
All
Uh,
right.
the concept of digital twins, I feel it's an amazing technology where you are covering an entire physical space into the virtual world. So
Yeah,
I think we're going to enjoy the conversation today.
absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, even super excited to talk about it. Yeah.
So starting off, how do digital twins revolutionize the way industries like manufacturing and healthcare utilize the IoT technology?
Okay, so I'll start with the very basics, Farida. Think about how we have, how this whole mankind has evolved. So I'll start from the very basics. So to get to the answer.
Correct.
So we were era in the agrarian business, agriculture business, and then we had machines, and then we had the industrial revolution. Then we had, then we had the systems, heavy machinery, and then cyber physical systems, then information, and then finally you had, all the cloud and computing and all those things computing which happened, and Industry 4.0 was born. So this is I'm talking about the whole era of metamorphosis that we all have gone through, right? Now, since I call it more like an industry Darwinism, so the Darwin's theory of evolution. So I call it more like an industry Darwinism. Now think about it. Those times when the first die was created, forging die was created, or any metal machining system was created, how the whole structure was, how the whole mindset was, right? So even
Correct.
though it's not just the Darwinism of the industry, but it's also the Darwinism of the mindset, right? It's just that we
Correct.
got more equipped. So coming back to your question, why we are in the era of digital twins? That's the most fundamental question.
Absolutely.
So once the mankind evolved, he got errors. He did it by trial and error, of course, and then he developed theories and simulations and mathematical models. Uh, Tried to prove that by experimentation, got to some point, and then again came back. So this back and forth was always there, Farida, right? So this was always there,
Correct.
and that experimentation gave a lot of observations, lot of results, and lot of results analysis were done. So finally, they found out that even the machines that we were having, so they were disconnected from mankind's brain actually. So how
Correct.
to yeah, so there were so many systems at the same time, but it was very difficult for mankind to actually get into the core of it. So I'm trying to explain more like in a very very in a easy manner, how people can really
Absolutely.
understand
Yes.
this
Yes.
here. So how to connect those machines to human brains so that they can take decision, and that's where the AI was born, right? That
Yes.
basically the the whole data. So now how the data is going to come from the industry, and that's how the industrial automation systems and then IoT was born. So one was industrial automation had been there for a very long time, but again, automation till analog thing. So now
Correct.
imagine so analog coming to a digital system, the digital communication framework, and then the IoT. So industry, the physical system, then basically your conversion of ADC, I should say analog to digital system, and then digital to IoT, and then coming in some kind of platform, and then getting that data. So this is the whole transformation. Now this data mostly came from different sources. Like you had
Absolutely.
JSON files or .dat files or CSV files or OLTP, which is your databases in and highly structured and unstructured manner. Then we had analytics, the era of analytics. So analytics also what is X and Y axis, which is the two-dimensional format. Yeah.
Correct.
Now again, just like the quest of mankind can never end, right? It's like, oh my god, so now we have in two-dimensional. Okay, I'm getting sales and purchase this, how much my stock is getting replenished. I'm just giving an example, like a typical
Yeah.
example of, okay, how much I should order back and get the manufacturing done. So after looking at that report, the mankind thought, okay, I have the two-dimensional format of it, yeah, X and Y axis. Can I also have a kind of the 3D,
3 dimension.
yeah, format in which I can zoom into that particular space where
Yeah.
things are already happening,
Correct.
and I can get there, and my IoT is going to support the data, and the fourth dimension I can use is the time. So I can have a
Okay.
time series analysis of the data right from the core engineering systems to the digital system. So I call it more like a phygital system. So we are very
Okay.
proud to build one of the world's pioneers in creating the world's first digital system.
Okay. That's
So
lovely.
I hope I have answered your question. I mean, yeah,
Absolutely,
So,
absolutely.
so this is how the whole revolution happened. The data is coming, and then we have giving the time series analysis. So, for example, if you spoke about predictive maintenance or something, so think about any machine which needs some kind of maintenance. So you can just zoom into that particular machine, get into that particular shaft or nut or your bolt or whatever you need to do, and you can get the most precise parameters because that's already loaded, and then finally try to fix. So not only that, you can guide, but you can also online guide people in some other countries as well. So the biggest advantage is something like a online surgery. So
Hmm.
it's a kind of online consultation also you can provide. So some expert sitting in America, he has to do some oil rig in Abu Dhabi, for example, or in Saudi, so they can connect online, and they can, they can talk about those machines and their maintenance strategies and whatever it is.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
this is it.
definitely that kind of revolutionized because again it has brought the world closer.
Yeah,
People from remote areas could have troubleshooting done from again different parts of the world. So
absolutely.
definitely that's a must in manufacturing industries and healthcare
Yeah.
as well.
Okay,
Absolutely.
sorry, I didn't touch the healthcare space. I think the same thing can be done for the, if it is done for machines, objects, it can be done for machines also. The surgery is one area. Then basically training. Training is another big area,
Yeah,
Farida.
yeah.
Yeah, so training of the students and doing the virtual
Yes.
surgery, and lot of transplants can be replicated. Lot of things. Not only that, monitoring of the healthcare systems, supply chain visibility. So there are hundreds of use cases in the healthcare as well. Yeah. But the
Okay.
major use case I see where there's a huge advantage, where there's a high value asset like oil and gas. So all
Okay.
so basically that's where, for example, oil rigs, huge
Mhm.
advantage. Fire and safety, where the stakes are very high. So that's where marine and ship engineering, a huge use case. I mean, big bang there.
Okay. But do you see the transformation of these industries towards these technologies, or is it slowly
Okay.
getting there?
It's slowly getting there. That's the one line answer. The reason is, see, think about the era, the moment, since I mentioned the one, two, three, four. So definitely that transformation also needs a kind of change
Mindset.
approach. Now, yeah, the moment digital twins are coming, the two-dimensional analytics is now, they are becoming more like a data feeder to this whole system. Why? Because if I can get to the bottom of a problem, that where exactly it is happening, because in any way from the 2D it goes to a physical 3D, which means I go to the physical asset, I understand, okay, this is what it is, and then based on the experience, so that experience thing is modeled in the third dimension with the fourth
Correct.
dimension of time. So this is
Correct.
the, yeah, so industries are getting there. They're understanding the value, and especially smart cities will be the first in some of the major implementations. Smart cities have adopted digital twins big
Yes.
time.
Yes.
Smart surveillance and security system, they have adopted that in some of the countries. Then smart traffic systems, they're getting there. Then if you're talking about the mobility and intelligence, so that's also an area which is picking up big time,
Okay.
apart from yeah.
So, what are the key challenges that one faces while implementing and managing digital twins within IoT ecosystems?
Good question. Actually, the challenges are almost the same challenges what you did for the first software in the world. The same. So, executive board sponsorship is required. Number one. Number two, the data engineering is the biggest problem. Why? Because you have systems, people, processes, and alignment of that. So that's the second big challenge. Third is getting all of them onboarded for a common purpose, and make them aware that this is how we are going to go. Second, and from a technical point of view, I see most of the organizations also, they don't have the full 3D models of the industries. They have some models, most of the models are still on paper. So that kind
Correct.
of transitioning is also required big time. So there's a huge area which has to be covered. But honestly, people are getting there because they are realizing the value. uh, and then all the challenges in IoT implementation can also be added. Why? Because it's a three layer, right? So the physical asset, the challenges of physical asset, then basically the challenges of the IoT, then the challenges with the 3D model, and then finally the display and other things. So these are the four layers. Then we get the overall map. So also uh, digital transformation of the industry plays a very very big role here. Why? Because if there's a digital transformation layer which is created on top of their existing legacy applications, and which can really ingest data, and then you have a kind of smart ETL, extract, transformation, and loading process, and smart algorithms and AI process to process that, and then feed into the digital twin framework. Then it makes more sense. Yeah.
Okay, but
So, yeah.
according to you, so keeping aside these challenges, which kind of industries? I know you mentioned a lot of. I think almost all industries can have this, but
Everyone.
at this stage, which type of organizations or what level of organizations do you think should absolutely go for this kind of a transformative change, maybe to
Oil and gas.
be ahead of their competition and
Oil and gas, energy industries. Oil and gas and energy industries. Why? Because the asset value is very very high. Second is
absolutely.
mobility industry like railways.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
so where I mean, think about a massive railway network in US or India or some of the other countries or wherever.
Correct.
I mean, the asset value at risk is very very high. So I'm
Very
just
high.
giving you a practical. Yeah. So that is
Yes.
another heavy industries like blast furnaces. Yeah,
Okay.
like heavy engineering industries, like where you have iron and steel industries. I'm just giving example. Ferrous and non-ferrous, even like aluminum industries. I'm just giving example. So
Correct.
heavy manufacturing industries, oil and
Yeah.
gas. So heavy assets, wherever the heavy assets are involved. So I think that's where the whole thing is involved.
And of course, smart cities that you mentioned,
Smart cities,
because
yeah, they
yes.
are the first ones to adopt. The reason is that's more from a security perspective. So the lot of for example, the federal and the agencies, they look for a lot of the from a city governance perspective. So smart
Yes.
citizen, smart administration, smart
Yes.
infrastructure, all of them. So I think digital twins play a much bigger role there. Yes, so they are. If you ask me who are the first ones to easily adopt it in the name of smart city, yes, they are the first one. Then,
Absolutely.
then oil and gas industries are a huge transformation because of their most complicated process and the asset value.
Asset
Heavy
value.
industries, ferrous and non-ferrous, foundry and forge industries, metal industries, metal farming industries. So almost everyone needs that. But yeah, so who are the first ones to adopt smart city? Yes, and
And
then
and a lot,
and
yeah, and a
railways.
lot many cities are going towards it across the
Yes,
world. Yeah, yeah. The
absolutely.
change
Yeah.
is coming definitely.
Yeah.
Um, so can you give us, maybe an example of how the artificial intelligence? You also mentioned data analytics, of course, but how do these play a role in enhancing the effectiveness of digital twins and IoT applications? Sorry.
I think this answers this answers the question itself answers the question.
Yeah.
So yeah, a few things. Actually, AI is practically used everywhere and it has to be used everywhere. So the one is in basically the modeling of the whole asset, right? That's one part where unique AI algorithms can be used to give
Yes.
the precision of that particular asset. That's one area. Second area is basically to creating the digital transform layer for the ADC, analog to digital conversion, and also to validate. So, from a data governance point of view, to validate the data source, I should say validation at the data source. So, the data
Correct.
which is coming at the source needs to get validated. Now, who is going to validate? Who is going to be the gatekeeper? So, that AI there itself. I'm talking about a practical application of AI where all it can be used and then how it can go. Then the third layer is the consolidation of the framework. So that machine learning there, the machine is going to basically do the auto loading, auto processing, and the ingestion and data acquisition, and then processing of data, and finally creating the right kind of structure, and then feeding into, and then the feed into the digital twin. So this
Correct.
whole process needs AI.
So
Now
AI is
on
the back end. Yeah.
the AI is the background. Now after all this, the whole AI. is also from a stochastic modeling, from a predictive modeling point of view. A lot of statistical models have to be developed. So, what are the exact frameworks? How these three-dimension, multi-dimensional analytics can be produced? So that's where the AI is also used. So not right from the data acquisition to data ingestion, data acquisition, data pre-processing, data, all that data engineering thing, but also at the analytics level, and then the predictive analytics level. So everywhere, it is going to be used, or it is being used in that particular depth. Yeah.
So I
and
don't think,
and one
yeah,
more thing, one more interesting thing is, in the era of generative AI and large
yes,
language model, actually our objective is to basically do that, to create the world's first specific domain specific AI model, which can generative AI model, I should say, for domain specific industries,
okay,
and also use cases also, like
correct.
energy and security, sustainability, safety, security, and sustainability, uh, like green tech. So green tech is another area which we are trying to do, where we can have very specific use cases which can fuel up the whole transformation process.
But I feel that as the future goes by, even in the retail industry, I
Oh,
guess the digital twins and IoT will have a major role to play, because it will give a consumer or a customer that kind of an experience where they might be sitting across the world and they can actually experience going into a center, retail center, and picking out. So I think that is one industry where if this change comes about, it would revolutionize the industry. And maybe even the construction, the builders and the architectural industry. So
yeah.
uh, I can see the use cases almost in every industry as we talk about
Every
education.
and
Yes,
with unfortunately slash unfortunately, I have not come out of the oil, gas, and heavy manufacturing so far. But yes, you have actually touched the right, I should say, very very right nerve on the whole
yes,
ecosystem. Retail, maybe 5 7 years back, I was talking about the digital malls of the future.
yes,
So that's
yeah,
what you're talking about, and that's what is the digital twin of the malls,
absolutely.
back-ended by the digital supply chain, back-ended by the digital manufacturing. So the
Yes,
whole thing, yeah, and then the
it's
gate, and
interconnected. Yeah,
yeah. So that's one area. Second is, one is the what is the offering to the customer. So that's one
yes,
part. Second part for the digital twin is the customer experience center.
yes. Because
So the
right now
customer.
they're getting a two-dimensional experience. That time they would be getting a three-dimensional experience of that center or that shop. Yes,
So now I want to visit a mall in California.
yes,
So I can have the full immersive experience there.
absolutely.
And not only that, initially they had a lot of apps which you can just use to color the change, but again two-dimensional. Think about the whole position, the whole mindset, all those elements captured, and so you are creating a revolution, a retail revolution actually. So well,
Absolutely. Yes. Yes. Yes.
yeah.
So, as we are discussing this, my next question was actually based on that. What are the most innovative use cases of digital twins in IoT, and how do they impact the efficiency and the decision making? We were talking about use cases, but specific to decision making, how would it help any organization to implement this in their working?
I'll talk about some of the very, very high profile use cases. One is the safety engineering, fire and safety. Now,
Yeah.
here is where the life of asset and life of humans both are at risk. Yeah. So
Correct.
that is a very, very critical use case, because that comes under critical infrastructure.
Yeah.
So so to sum it up, critical infrastructurity is one of the biggest win of a digital twin. Why? You can model cities, you can model infrastructure, you can model critical infrastructure, and then see what is exactly happening, and then finally configure. You can have a box of stack of algorithms which can actually make sure that whatever is happening with your critical infrastructure, you can have the monitoring of the same. Second is the ROM. I call it remote operations management. The same visibility, which is related to point number one. But the first one was from the monitoring perspective. Second is the operations management. So although that monitoring translates into the operational KPIs.
Correct.
So that is another area which you see that as a major use case. Remote operations management.
Management.
Yeah. So that's the second one. Third is the um, the action items actually, which are so monitoring operations and then the action. So what action, the act, what actions you're going to take. So you can have the AI to have they can give you the scoring of what are the action items which are required in such kind of scenarios. And
Correct.
if there is any kind of false alarm or any kind of false signal, so then that attenuation can also be monitored via your AI algorithm. So that can also so usually you get a signal, but it is not appropriate, right?
Correct.
So and what happens is you get the people galvanized into spontaneous action to act. So that action also gets quantified whether that action is required or not required.
Required or not required. Correct.
Because again, any action calls for a lot of resources
Absolutely.
mobilization, and definitely a cost is involved there. So
Yes. I was actually going to ask that in the long run, definitely it's going to be cost effective.
super.
Yes.
Actually, one of the, I'll be very upfront. That's very we are under strict NDA, but there's a major footprint, carbon footprint that we have control. There's a major area in which and it's the numbers, in terms of real numbers, in terms of
Okay.
accelerating the operations efficiency, in terms of total cost of ownership control. So some X% Y% carbon of footprint Z%, and then in terms of overall bottom line kind of growth. So that is, W%. So that XYZW we have already attained, and we are very proud. Also, as I mentioned, that we are moving towards the green tech as the
Yes.
core agenda, because the sustainability is at the
Sustainable.
core of our at the core of our heart. And you know that ESG, which is the ESG is something which is picking up big time everywhere. So all these digital twins and industrial automation technologies, at the end of the day, if done well, is leading towards the ESG,
Okay.
and which is actually why, because anyway, the moment you are doing the predictive maintenance, which means a lot of carbon footprint you're already managing, so sustainability is already there. So control,
Correct.
yeah.
Correct. So not only from a business point of view, but even from an environmental point of view, I
There's a
think this
huge
is going to be, yes, revolutionizing.
absolutely.
Absolutely. What are the security and privacy implications of using digital twins? Because when we talk about AI, when we talk about data analytics, as you said, the data is coming from different sources.
Yeah.
Since it's coming from different sources, it's not at the same level. Some of the data is also not filtered data. So, how does security and privacy, affect the digital twins in IoT environments, and how can that be addressed?
Very good question, because this is the core actually. This is the question of this whole episode actually we are doing.
Because it's based on data.
Data,
Data is the
yeah.
most important factor.
Yeah, so basically, the digital twin, what we are talking about, is a function of data. Just
Yes.
mathematically, it's a function of data. So data, when I talk about data, data is equal to data governance, right? So you're talking about data privacy, you're talking about data security, you're talking about data governance, you're talking about data legislation, and you're talking also about data ontology. So, so these are the key parameters which are automatically involved. So, one point I mentioned, you remember in the initial conversation of validation of data at the source.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a big thing. That itself is data governance. Which means the both the parties, the producer and the consumer, they are in agreement. They are, I should say, not in the blockchain format, but in smart contract, that this data is getting shared and this data is getting acknowledged, and this is the value that we are deriving out of it. So that's one area. Second, they are the parties are also in agreement that this data is going to be processed under these protocols, and this is going to use such kind of algorithms to produce this value. So that kind of agreement is also very important. I'm talking more from a governance point of view.
Yes.
And then how that data is going to be used for that particular organization, that the whole data governance framework also needs to be in place, because that's what controls the whole organization, because it is intertwining the different tenets of the organization, different verticals of the organization. So when
Okay.
all of them are intertwined together with a unified data governance framework, and then you take all that data on the top here and then produce the value, then I think that is the nirvana level of data governance. So
Correct.
I hope I answered your question, like a pyramidal structure. So right from the
Yes.
source to the middle layer, or a middleware, what do you call it, and then finally at the AI engine layer, and then producing the value. So that has to be monitored at every level.
Absolutely. So I think for security, the main thing is that the data which is coming in has to be validated. It has to be kept secure, and as you know, that is always there. The transparency level that you have to share with the stakeholders as to how you're going to utilize this data and in what ways is this data being utilized.
Yes,
I think
and
that is again,
that is the core. Actually,
yes,
imagine you are taking one OEM machine. Okay, that OEM machine has parts, which is basically very very proprietary to the OEM. Now that data, what is being shared, has is contributing, and that basically decides the functioning of your manufacturer. So that's such a big trade secret, right? So that data governance is a very very data privacy to the organization plays a very very role. I should say the role of a digital transformation director, or I should say the and also the chief data officer, very very crucial apart, and the CIO has to look at both the areas very very well. And once everything is in place, then CISO has to step up for the next level. Why? Because the data is coming in multiple dimensions, right? And the decisions are being taken on that. So think about a fiction movie in which basically data is getting accelerated, the two-dimensional data is getting accelerated in multiple dimensions, and then the security and terms and condition, then finally you are getting a layer. So that's a fiction movie actually, if you look at it, yeah, where the world is moving towards.
absolutely. And we were talking about asset management. Any particular use cases where you feel the digital twins have contributed to some kind of predictive maintenance strategies for asset management specifically?
Actually, there are many. In foundry and forge industries, for example,
Uh-huh.
have you heard of pneumatic hammer, pneumatic press? So basically, that is being used for forging materials actually, for
Okay.
basically to put, yeah, to build that. So now they have a lot of parameters to control, so a
Okay.
lot of parameters to control. Unfortunately, that is an area which has to be tapped. That is where the real phygital thing is required, means that physical to digital
Digital.
transformation.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Today also in most of the industries, it's done in a very very manual manner today, as of now. So think about, once we introduce, or we means whenever the digital twins are getting introduced on those kind of industries, the value, the TAT, which is the turnaround time to achieve that particular thing, is going to drastically reduce. Not only that, which means the production time is getting reduced, which means the supply is getting faster, which means
Faster.
the whole supply chain is getting accelerated to to meet the demands of the customer. So
Correct.
it's
It's a
not
chain
just
reaction.
it's a complete chain reaction. So
Yes.
so asset monitor is not just the asset monitoring, but also the right utilization of resources with the right, I should say, ingredients with a time series analysis. So
Correct.
that's what exactly. So that's the very critical use case I told you in a typical foundry and forge industry, like pneumatic press, making forging materials. So these are some of the real high value assets, which can be controlled, and the whole supply chain can be delivered. The biggest use case is still the automotive industry, the large trucks and and lorries, those kind of industries. So I mean, their spare parts, so those kind of things.
Correct. Especially as you said, where the asset value is very high.
Yeah, asset value is very high. You get a real monitoring, you get a real value. Also,
Correct.
you get the shorter TAT, and the decision
Yes.
making capabilities are very fast. Yeah.
Strength analysis. Correct. Correct.
And we have the tons of use cases and case studies to support what we can. You can just go to our website and see the great logos in the world who have trusted in us. So
So it's like an investment for the future. You're
no, for
investing
the, no,
now.
no, 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 for the current also, not for
Yeah.
the future,
As
for the
in,
current.
any company who's going to put in will definitely have the benefits, because in the long run, it is definitely going to help them cut down their resources, help them in effective management, real time action, and also minimize their resources.
Yeah,
So,
and if they have a see the digital twin plugs in very well with any organization which is talking about a true digital transformation. So
okay,
if we are going through a digital transformation and if you plug in digital twin, you realize the value immediately. Why? Because
correct,
you're
correct,
already in the digital. So the core element of digital twin is the digital transformation that you are going to.
correct.
So if I talk about the industry digital transformation, the digital twin plays a the very good output of it.
Absolutely. I agree. I agree. So, lastly, what advancements in sensor technology are driving the evolution of digital twins in IoT, and how are they enabling more accurate representations of the physical assets or the systems?
Okay, great question. Again, so there are a lot of assets actually. Of course, I talk about right now the high value assets. So they have got multiple parts and components, right? And they are monitored via different sensors. For example, if I take the fire and safety part, so they have got the sensors for their fire components and the control panels. So a lot of re-engineering is already happening on the sensors part. But looking from a futuristic point of view, the size of the sensors are also coming down. And initially, a few years back, though it's a nascent stage and used a lot in the healthcare industry, is IIoT, which is
Okay,
Industrial Internet of Nano Things.
okay,
So, yes, due to the advent of the smart material graphene, a lot of research is already happening in basically cutting down not only the cost of the sensors but also the size of the sensors. So
okay,
actually, one of our vision down the line is to also reduce the cost of sensorization also, so that
okay,
it is a real advantage in not only in named industries but also in the industries which are which are actually planning for major growth,
correct,
so you can also afford it. So
afford
affordability is also very important. Economic viability is also very important. So the first stage is going to be people who are having that kind of future sight, who are already who have a digital transformation place, who have a cloud which is having the ready data, and they can move to the. So that's the best case
top
scenario.
layer. Yes, yes,
That's a top layer. So that's what we are already doing, and that's one part which we want to cover in the whole world in
correct.
100 plus countries. That's what our whole vision is. That let's set a standard, a benchmark. The second
Yeah,
layer is basically the industries which are not going through digital transformation promote digital transformation there, so we have that
correct,
consulting approach to get to that level, and also build maybe a kind of platform as a service so that they can use. So that's where the with the effective cost optimization at their side, they are actually getting a real value of it. And the third is the industries which are actually the smaller ones. Of course, is much down the line, but. They can also plan, after looking at top one and top through three. a kind of model how they can correct their worst problems, and get along with an operational strategy, and link their operational strategy to corporate strategy, and finally get to a level of digital transformation, because these are the four layers to get to the digital transformation. And
Correct.
then that
Correct.
particular digital transformation, once that is there, then the PaaS, which is already having the digital twin, can plug in there. So that's where the whole game changes. Yeah.
So that's the entire vision.
Entire vision. Yeah. Right now, first, second, third, and then finally helping the whole world. Yeah. So yeah. But that, for that also, that kind of that I
The
call
mind.
EQ
Yes.
mindset, the EQ of the industry, the emotional quotient of the
Yes.
industry, have to get to that level. So that's,
But I think it is changing, definitely.
yeah,
The realization is coming in. Maybe it's coming slowly in some industries, it's coming faster in the others, but you can see that shift of mindset. So I
absolutely,
think
absolutely.
the vision that you have would be achieved very soon. It won't take much time.
Yeah, actually, things are moving faster because the TAT, the customer value, cost, all these are playing much big roles in the decision making at the corporate level. So definitely adoption of new technologies, and especially AI, and in today's world, the generative I think is very, very crucial.
So, once again, thank you so much, Mr. Kumar, for joining us and giving us all of these insights on digital twins and talking about IoT. Absolutely amazing. As I said, I was looking forward to this, and I enjoyed myself a lot. I got to learn so much, and uh, I think what you're doing is absolutely great.
Thank you.
And maybe the future is the virtual world is coming in soon, as we would say. Uh, More, I think we should see a transformative change even in retail industry. I think that would be one of a very mega transformative change that we can all look forward to.
Maybe we can connect on the retail part once I'm done with all these everything. So
Definitely,
heavy lifting,
definitely.
retail is something very, very close to my heart, and I see, because from a customer experience, it's a
Yes,
huge value. Yeah.
yes, definitely. So, thank you everyone. Signing off. Thank you for joining us in this exploration of digital twins and the IoT. We hope this episode shed light on the revolutionary synergy between the virtual replicas and the real world objects, offering insights into their transformative potential across industries. Stay connected with us for more fascinating discussions on emerging technologies shaping our interconnected world. Until next time, keep innovating and embracing the digital future. Thank you. Thank you once again.
Thank you. Thank you very much.